This is how I installed my entire radar detection system on my Aprilia RSV4 motorcycle. For this installation, I'll be using a 2019 Aprilia RSV4 RF1100 factory motorcycle. I've already installed the Valentine1G2 using a RAM mount. I've installed the Marc Parnes LED visual alert and the Valentine audio remote control device that you use with the Parnes just to get a little bit more of a visual indicator and make it easier to see your alerts. So since they're already installed, I'm gonna just go through each component, what I did, and show how I set it up, but you won't see the detailed tasks in each of the little requirements. However, where I do have other videos showing more detail, I'll link those in the description below. This is the Valentine1G2, and there aren't a lot of options for mounting radar up in the cockpit of this bike. Being a sport bike, you've got clip-ons with very little open handlebar space, just for compactness, lightweight function. So about the only way you can really mount one practically here is to do the stem mount. I've never been a big fan of these because they just don't feel as secure as something bolted in place or, you know, a handlebar grip type, but they actually do work well. This one's been in place for several years. I bought the bike new in 19, and this uses a RAM mount. So it goes down inside the tube, your stem basically. It's got rubber and it kind of pushes the rubber out to grip the insides. And then you've got a little arm out here, and eventually your platform with the 4 grip pieces on arms that pry apart like this and then hold it in place. So it's a slick enough design, and I've had it for a long time. And then you have this kind of cargo net thing that goes over top of it, which you may or may not really need, to be honest. I don't know how much value it adds. But with this, it's worked like I said. Now that I've done the quad lock installation for my radar on the BMW over here, I may go back and change this out to the quad lock just because I like the quad lock turn and lock and turn and release better than the 4-post design of the RAM mount. Someone also mentioned a mag lock one as an option too. So different options, but point is you're probably gonna get forced to use some kind of a stem mount, so just be prepared for that. In addition to the actually Valentine unit, you've also got the Marc Parnes LED indicator, this visual alert gadget here, and you also have the Valentine audio remote that is needed to be able to use the Parnes device. The reason for installing those is because back here, this is where your indicator is, and when you're on the bike and tucked, your helmet and all that is kind of up in here and you're looking forward out this way. So it's very difficult sometimes to see the alerts, especially in day hours. This Marc Parnes device actually provides a lot brighter LED display, and it's pushing it further forward into your field of view because you're not sitting back here, you're sitting up in here somewhere. And so instead of looking down all the time, you can be looking forward and see those alerts. Okay. So these are the 3 components you need to physically mount. This one I already talked about. These 2, I just use a little bit of dual lock underneath them. I think the Marc Parnes device comes with some Velcro, but I like the dual lock. And I just stuck them to the top of the dash. That made the most sense. Some guys might put them up alongside the edge of the screen, but I kind of like to keep everything contained here, and that's still well in my line of sight. And up here is the Valentine1 power box. I've just mounted that up in there, and it is, it's like zip tied in there somewhere. Zip ties, dual lock, whatever you got to do, find a happy home for it, get it out of the way, make sure that your handlebars clear everything. And what you'll have is one cable going to the Valentine 1 That'll be the main one, and then the other one, the accessory, is what's going to go to the power out port of the Valentine audio remote. And for a full detailed installation on the Marc Parnes with that audio remote, I'll put a link in the description below that will show that, as I just did that and filmed it for the BMW. The power cords that come with the Valentine devices are probably 3 foot long or so. They're a bit cumbersome for a motorcycle installation. So what I always do is chop them down. I figure, I mount all the components. I figure out how long I actually want the cables, and then I just chop the end off and I crimp on a new connector for the length that I want to keep this a little bit cleaner up here for the install, and just less stuff to get tangled up, especially in the handlebars and brake levers and everything as you're moving the bike around. The last connection you need to make to the V1 box is going to be the power leads. Now on this bike, you can see I've already installed the USB power port for accessories, and that tells me where the 12 volt power is in the bike. The shield will have to be removed to access the power ports, and pay attention, each screw has a little washer with it for the windshield. Now there's 4 screws there, and then you have 2 holes down here as well, and they fall into place on these tabs that are difficult to see, but they're right inside here. And you can see that the screen has the washers, rubber washers, grommets, I guess you'd call them, on each of the 6 locations. Kind of hard to see, but this is the tab for those lower pair of holes on the screen, and the same ones over there. It's a bit tough to see, but if you can make out that blue Scotch lock right there, I basically use Scotch locks to attach to what I already knew was 12 volt switched power, hot and ground, from that connector for the USB port, and that gives me my power that I then ran over here to my V1 box right there. Making sure your grommets are all in place and in good condition on the screen. You then find those little tabs in here. Make sure you're clearing your cables, not pinching any of those. There's that one. And that one. So that should all fit nice and tight there. Just put the same 4 bolts and washers. Don't have to over crank these, but get them snug enough. And there you go. And your new shield is in place. And when you connect it, obviously make sure one more time that everybody's lighting up like they're supposed to. If you haven't done so, please click the link below, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and let's live for today.